Europe is full of grand capitals, massive cultures, and centuries of history. But today we're not talking about the big players. We're going micro. Hidden between giants like France, Italy, and Spain are some of the smallest countries in the world. Micronations that are tiny in size, but full of big stories. From medieval republics to modern tax havens, these are the European countries most travelers skip but shouldn't. Let's take a tour through the tiny nations that punch way above their weight. First off, what exactly is a microstate? In simple terms, it's a fully sovereign country with very small territory and population. How small? Some are under 1 square mile. For comparison, that's smaller than the parking lot at Disneyland. These microstates survive thanks to smart diplomacy, special tax laws, and some pretty unusual history. And they're some of Europe's best kept secrets. So why visit them? Because they've got luxury casinos, medieval towers, mountaintop fortresses, Formula One races in the middle of cities, and a lot fewer tourists than their bigger neighbors. Let's break them down one tiny nation at a time.
I'm in one of the smallest countries in the world, but also one of the oldest countries in the world.
San Marino, the oldest republic. Tucked inside Italy, San Marino is easy to miss. It's the 5th smallest country in the world, but it claims to be the oldest republic still in existence, founded all the way back in the year 301 by a Christian stonemason named Marinus, who fled Roman persecution. Despite being surrounded entirely by Italy, San Marino has maintained its independence through the centuries. Even Napoleon respected it. It has its own government, military, and even stamps and passports. Though it uses the euro, it's not part of the European Union. Tourism and banking are its main economic engines. And yes, it's worth a visit. Climb to the top of Mount Titano, explore 3 medieval towers that look like something out of a fantasy novel, and enjoy panoramic views of the Italian countryside. Why go? Medieval towers, stunning hilltop views, and way fewer tourists than nearby Florence or Venice. San Marino also mints its own coins and stamps, even though it uses the euro. And yes, it's tax-friendly, but don't expect the Monaco lifestyle. Think more alpine charm on a budget. Fun fact, San Marino survived World War II without being invaded and once offered asylum to over 100,000 refugees in a country that has fewer than 35,000 citizens today. Bonus tip, stop by the San Marino Tourism Office and get your passport stamped with a souvenir stamp. Most tourists don't realize that's even possible. You know, before working on this video, I thought these microstates were just cute little trivia facts. But the more you dig in, the more you realize they're not just surviving, they're actually thriving. And yes, some of them are weirdly powerful for their size. I mean, who knew a country smaller than a theme park could have billionaires, a national army, and its own stamps?
I'm in Vaduz, Switzerland. Vaduz isn't in Switzerland? Liechtenstein, another micro country?
Next up, Liechtenstein. This alpine microstate, wedged between Switzerland and Austria, is only 25 kilometers long and has fewer than 40,000 residents. It has no airport, no coastline, and no army, yet it boasts one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world. Why? Finance, industry, and a very friendly tax system. It's a hub for holding companies and trusts with more registered businesses than people. It's a constitutional monarchy, yes, with a real prince who actually lives in a cliffside castle overlooking the capital of Vaduz. Liechtenstein is also one of the safest countries in the world, with such low crime rates that the average annual prison population is in the single digits. Tourists? Hike the Alps, visit the royal castle, and if you're lucky, you might spot the prince himself. Yes, Liechtenstein has a monarch, and yes, he lives there. Tourists can also enjoy pristine hiking trails, family-run wineries, quirky museums, and the novelty of getting your passport stamped just for fun. Fun fact, in 2007, Switzerland accidentally invaded Liechtenstein due to a GPS error. No one noticed, and they apologized. Liechtenstein forgave them. That's how chill this country is. Bonus tip, for around 3 Swiss francs, you can send your passport to the museum in Balzers and get an official Liechtenstein visa stamp, a quirky collectible very few travelers know about. If Liechtenstein is rich, Monaco is royalty level rich. This tiny state on the French Riviera is the second smallest country in the world, with just over 2 square kilometers of land, and yet one of the most densely populated. 1 in 3 residents is a millionaire, and real estate prices can reach over 100,000 euros per square meter. The country has no personal income tax, no wealth tax, and no capital gains tax, which makes it a haven for the ultra wealthy. Fun fact, Monaco has no personal income tax, none. That's part of the reason why so many rich people move here. Behind the glam is real governance. Monaco is a constitutional monarchy led by Prince Albert II, and while it relies heavily on tourism, it also has a thriving banking and real estate sectors. You can stroll through the marina, bet it all at the Casino de Monte Carlo, or watch luxury cars parade like it's a fashion show on wheels. And let's not forget the legendary Formula One Grand Prix, which turns the entire city into a racetrack. Tourist tip, you can visit Monaco in a day. Literally, it takes less than an hour to walk across the whole country. Fun fact, even though it's French-speaking, Monaco is not part of France, and residents of Monaco can't gamble at the Monte Carlo casino. It's for tourists only. Bonus tip, head to the rooftop of the Oceanographic Museum, not just for the marine life, but for the breathtaking views over the Riviera. It's one of the best hidden photo spots in Monaco. High in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain lies Andorra, a country that feels like a living paradox. It has 2 heads of state. One is the president of France, and the other is a bishop from Spain. Weird? Very. But it works. That political setup dates back to the 13th century and still works today. Andorra isn't part of the EU, but uses the euro. It's not in the Schengen zone, but it's easy to enter. And it has one of the world's highest life expectancies thanks to clean air, active lifestyles, and top-tier healthcare. Its economy is powered by tourism, especially skiing, retail, and low taxes. It's a duty-free haven, meaning you can shop electronics, perfumes, and alcohol for far less than in nearby countries. With just over 80,000 residents, it's still a full democracy with its own parliament, police force, and even a national holiday. Bonus tip, Andorra hides a Romanesque church trail few tourists explore. Don't miss the stone church of Sant Joan de Casellas. It's from the 11th century and looks frozen in time. And if you visit in winter, don't miss the Gran Valira ski resort, one of the largest in the Pyrenees. And finally, we arrive at the most iconic micronation of all, Vatican City. It covers less than a half a square kilometer, but it's home to one of the most influential figures on earth, the Pope. Vatican City is a theocracy and an independent state with its own post office, train station, and citizenship system. It even issues its own euros with the Pope's image on them. You'll find the Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican Museums, which house some of the most important art and history. Over 5 million visitors enter each year, making it one of the most visited places on earth. Here's the catch. You can't become a citizen unless you work for the Vatican. Swiss guards, diplomats, and priests, this isn't your digital nomad paradise. But as a tourist, it's epic and free to enter. Just be ready for crowds and strict rules. This is a theocracy after all. Fun fact, Vatican City has the highest crime rate per capita in the world. But that's only because it's so small and full of tourists. Most of the crimes are pickpocketing. Also, the Vatican has no formal prisons. Sentences are served in Italian facilities. Bonus tip, every Wednesday morning, the Pope holds a public audience in St. Peter's Square, and it's free. Most tourists don't know you need to reserve tickets online ahead of time. So here's the thing, these places might be small, but every single one made me ask, what really defines a country? Is it land, power, culture, or just knowing who you are? Because these microstates, they know exactly who they are, and maybe that's what makes them so magnetic.
So what do these microstates have in common? They may be small, but they each hold their ground. Some are ancient republics, others are tax-smart monarchies. Some lean spiritual, others lean financial, but all of them have something unique to offer. So which one should you visit, or better yet, move to? For luxury and tax freedom, Monaco. For culture and art, Vatican, but technically you can't live there. For history and views, San Marino. For fairy tale vibes and finance, Liechtenstein. For lifestyle and skiing, Andorra. Each has its own vibe, its own system, and its own weirdly specific rules. But what they all share is this: they're tiny, independent, and incredibly proud of who they are. They prove that a country doesn't need size to have impact. So the next time you're planning a Euro trip, take a closer look at the corners of the continent. Europe's microstates prove that size isn't everything. You don't need a giant army or a massive territory to survive in the modern world. You just need smarts, identity, and in some cases, a lot of rich neighbors. If you've ever dreamed of disappearing into a tiny country with no income tax and postcard views, well, now you know where to start. This is Places to Go. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me, which micro country would you live in?